Hey, this is Keith with How to Build Your Own Home, and I want to give you some thoughts, and I want some feedback on this because I'm going to ask a really, really big favor from a lot of my subscribers. And it's on the subject of planning and expectations. And a lot of times we have in our head an expectation of something, or at least the assumption that it's a built-in to the whole package of building a home. And it could deal with windows, it could deal with paint, it could deal with excavation, just about anything. And we have in our mind that a certain expectation will be fulfilled. And when it's not fulfilled, then we get upset, we yell at the builder, we yell at the subcontractor, we got a little emotional about it because we had all this built up inside our mind, and yet a lot of it was never communicated with the subcontractor, understood in the contract, understood in the specifications. It just wasn't there. And that's when a lot of frustration occurs in the construction industry. Let me give you a good example. Drywall, tape and texture has typically 5 levels: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is hyper super smooth, all right? Very, very, very difficult to achieve on very large walls with long runs that are taking place. And typically you can't reach that level of expectation without a change in the framing structure beneath the drywall, such as engineered wood or metal studs. If you're trying to get that level of smoothness where there's no wave at all inside the wall, it's almost impossible with regular kiln dried lumber. Okay, so somebody can say they could say I want level 5, and yet you're framing the wall in a way where it's almost going to be impossible. And then you have to fur it out with furring strips and hopefully to make it just perfectly. Okay. So if you don't know what's required of an expectation, and yet you have an expectation in your mind, then that eventually is going to come to a head in the construction process because neither party was informed of that expectation. Here's the other problem. Some people, like drywallers, will have an idea in their mind as to what level 5 is in drywall, but when you really, really look at it, it's not level 5, it's probably level 4 or level 4.5, if there is such a thing. And a lot of subcontractors will go about their day doing a level 4 for a job that should be a level 5. Okay? And that's their standard of quality, that's their level of expertise. And again, if somebody has an expectation for something that's like 5 plus plus, and somebody's working on a level 4 for smoothness of a wall, and yet they've asked for 5, that's eventually going to come to a head. And that's your biggest problem in construction. So the question I have is this. I'm very interested in creating a system of expectations. Now, you know that I use quality, time, cost in that order and all together. Quality, time, cost. It's kind of how I meet the best level that I can. But I'm interested in, like in drywall, there's 5 levels of quote unquote expectations or quality that somebody can go after. But we don't have the same thing for HVAC. We don't necessarily have the same thing for a lot of different trades out there, because a lot of those things that are designed and built and installed are done ad hoc during the course of construction. So the expectation is a moving target. And because it's a moving target, you are not necessarily going to hit your target, and maybe you may not hit the subcontractor's target because of the design of the home is not making it easy to hit the target that the subcontractor wants, let alone what you want. So this requires something that I'm kind of wrestling with: pre-planning and design. Now, when it comes to expectations, I think it would be very, very good if in my program that I've created, I create something that would really help a lot of people. And what I'm trying to do is get the expectations for every single trade. And it would be a level 1 through 5 or 1 through 7, whatever it may be. And so, we're just expecting a level 2 expectation on this, and then quantify and qualify what that level 2 expectation is. All right. Now, some people are just cost. I want to get the cheapest cost, and that's their expectation. It's just the cost of something. Other people want the cost of, oh man, I want the best I can get. Here's a good example. When you take HVAC and you take it out of the attic and off the roof and you put it inside the conditioned space of the home, you run into a lot of conflicts. Granted that it's more efficient, it's better on the utilities, it's better on the mechanics of the whole operation, it's a less stress on it, but you're now putting more pressure on the design. You're putting an incredible amount of more pressure on the framing structure. So this higher level of expectation or perfectionism you're going after is now putting pressure on this other expectation. So what I'm interested in doing is actually creating a graph or some sort of a design or help or assistance that can help owner builders, especially builders, that when they go after something, when they start a project on a home, okay, the expectation we want for this is here. How is that going to affect other subcontractors? How is that going to affect the end product? And I think that's what would be cool. I don't know how to do it. This is a huge project. So if you have some ideas, thoughts, please mention them below. I'm going to start, when I start noodling on something, I eventually wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning. I figure out a solution, and voila, there it is. So that's what's been coming to my mind, is how to get subcontractors and the actual builder to really see eye to eye on something so that they are fully aware that this could happen this way because of the way things are. So your expectation is going to get a punch. It may be a gut punch, or it may just be a prick. So if that can be coordinated and communicated for every different subcontractor, that when they're going after this certain level of expectation of perfection, everybody knows about it. Everybody's planning for it. Now, as a builder, I try to plan for as much as I can, but every once in a while, I just don't see things coming. And you can do things with the best of intention, but you just don't catch things because it's a new custom home, one you've never built before. With builder grade homes, track homes, yeah, I've been through it many times, and we make corrections, and I've seen track homes do this. They'll make corrections and changes and adjustments during the course of the build over and over and over again, to the point where by the time they get it right in a third or second or fifth phase, they've made so many adjustments on that plan that it accommodates for that level of expectation. So think about it. Give me some thoughts. Give me some feedback. How best to approach this? Would it be in a diagram format? Would it be in a chart format, or just a description of a narrative of some kind? What would it be? Because it would be an undertaking. We're talking about 36 to 42 different subcontractors and the expectations of all of those. And when you hit or demand a certain level of expectation, how does it affect the other subcontractors? I don't even know if it can be done, but I'm curious about it. Leave your comments, feedback. It's something I've been on. I didn't know how to phrase it, but now I think I know how to communicate the problem, and now I can inspire the solution, and maybe with a lot of feedback, we can all come together on something. Anyway, this is Keith with How to Build Your Own Home, with a real big challenge for all subscribers. You guys take care.